This is going up a lot later than I was planning to, but I'll be posting a lot more videos like this one over the next couple of days, covering the Hammer Burst, the Retro Lancer, and all sorts of other stuff. This video is about the sawed-off in the beta and how it worked. I'm using sawed-off gameplay for obvious reasons. It'll be the last sawed-off gameplay that I post from the beta. Anyway, the number one issue that I have with the sawed-off, this is just my personal number one issue with it, is the following statement by Rod Ferguson of Epic Games. He's a developer at Epic Games, for those who don't know. Quote, "I'm not a very good Nasher player, the shotgun. I've always struggled a little bit going online and getting owned with wall bouncing, shotgunning, and that kind of thing. We really created the sawed-off shotgun to help with that. We wanted to create a weapon that was sort of new player friendly that gave them the experience of the up-close Gib Fest, but take away some of the requirements of high accuracy for moving targets." End quote. These are not my words. These are the words of a developer of the game. I know those sound like something that would come out of maybe a Nasher purist's mouth or something. But I'm going to repeat that last line. We wanted to create a weapon that was sort of new player friendly, that gave them that experience of the up close Gib Fest, but take away some of the requirements of high accuracy for moving targets. One more time if you're not understanding what my problem with this is. Take away some of the requirements of high accuracy for moving targets. The point of the gun is to make it easier for new players to be able to get into the kind of gunfights that veteran players have enjoyed since the first Gears of War. The problem stems from the fact that the gun actually does its job, whereas the Nasher has always been a little bit inconsistent at it. It does its job consistently in a game full of inconsistencies and uncertainties. This may sound like something that's good and helps the game, but in reality, it only causes frustrating issues for players who enjoy those same gunfights that the gun was built to help players transition into. Its consistency is also where it breaks itself. While the weapon is designed to work for newer players, it truly excels in the hands of a player who knows the ins and outs of the game. More specifically, the cover system. This is getting a little bit off topic for a second, but while the cover system is designed to stage long-range firefights, really ever since the first Gears of War, it's served as a way for players to close distance gaps with other players, which is obviously going to favor those with a shotgun over, say, those with a rifle or those with a power weapon. Anyway, back to the actual gun that I'm talking about in this rather than the cover system. The gun itself is almost as balanced as it can get. It's one bullet per reload, a long, very easily jammed reload, and at the end of the day, not much range at all. If there's one aspect where it isn't balanced, it's that its potential Gib range is actually slightly further than that of the Nasher. I know some of the developers have put out there that it has the same one-shot Gib range as the Nasher, but that's not true. I did plenty of tests on it. It's slightly larger. Not a whole lot larger, but they're definitely not equal. But that doesn't matter. It's, like I said, it's a very slight thing. But no matter how balanced it may be to the Nasher and the other weapons, its final purpose still just doesn't sound useful on paper. A dumbed-down shotgun for those who aren't as skilled with the Nasher. At the end of the day, weapons like that serve no purpose and really just shouldn't be in the game. The biggest issue with the gun on a functional level is how it works with lag. Due to client-side hit detection, it's at times unavoidable. And I'll leave a few examples of what I mean in the description. I've had a ridiculous amount of times where I notice somebody pushing me with a double barrel, and they're clearly outside of range to hit me with it, and I'm clearly able to get away from it, but no matter how far away I get killed by the gun. It doesn't matter if I roll back, if I roll to the side, if I roll past them, it doesn't matter. Sometimes it's simply unavoidable. The way I see it, this is an issue with client-side hit detection, not necessarily the gun. Unfortunately, the only solution I really have to that is to make the double barrel a projectile weapon, which would remove the client-side hit detection. I'll get into all this later. So if you're not following what I'm saying, I'll explain it a little bit better later. But like I said, the gun itself is balanced. It's not overpowered. If anything, it's kind of underpowered in comparison to the rest of the guns. But the problem is that it serves no purpose other than really to annoy players. Its own purpose is even degraded due to the main skill gap coming from the knowledge of the cover system, not from the gun itself. Usually, there's a certain kind of seeable skill gap between somebody who's good and somebody who's bad with a weapon. Usually, that seeable difference comes from aiming the gun, comes from their ability to hit players with a gun. This isn't the case with the sawed-off. There's no aiming necessity. There is none whatsoever. All skill that comes from the double barrel is coming from how you can maneuver around the cover system. Unfortunately, there really isn't much that can be done about the weapon. No matter what's done to it, it's still a dumbed down version of a gun that's designed to be better than it. So, in other words, really there isn't anything that can be done about it. I mean, which is what my problem with it is. It's so simple of a weapon that it breaks the game in ways that can't be fixed. I mean, I've written up a few solutions, but most of them are kind of radical that probably won't get done. The first one, and to me, by far the best solution, is just remove it from online multiplayer. Make use of the training grounds, assuming it returns like it was in Gears 2, and actually teach players the way the Nasher is supposed to be used. Watering down the game for a population of players isn't going to make anybody happy. It's just going to frustrate people. The gun's built to allow players to transition into the up-close gib shotgun fights that everybody loves to have on Gears, but the problem is that a gun like this makes those less and less apparent. They happen less and less. It's essentially helping somebody get into something that will at some point maybe not exist. Now, I know that this won't happen. I know it's not going to be removed from online multiplayer, but this is what makes the most sense to me. Get rid of it and explain to new players the Nasher and the way that it works. Shit, hire somebody to coordinate the training ground session if you have to for the Nasher. Like, hire Skyless, who's been doing all sorts of like how-tos and tips and tricks and kind of stuff on Gears 2 and Gears 3 that people have been watching. Casual players, competitive players, everybody's been watching and saying that they're pretty good video guides. I mean, to me, it just doesn't make sense. If you're gonna do something like that, make a shotgun that's easier to use than the main shotgun, but is still worse. Why not just make why not do that with every gun? Why not make a sniper rifle that gets headshots with any part of the body? I mean, it'll make players who aren't great with a sniper feel like they're accomplishing something, right? I mean, that's the kind of logic that I'm seeing with a double barrel. It doesn't make any sense to me. I don't think it should be in the game. The second solution that I wrote up was to make it a pickup weapon. I don't think this will happen either, but to me, this is the only solution I can think of that would at least make everybody a little bit happy. Simply don't let players spawn with the gun. Make it an abundant spawn on the map, similar to the Hammer Burst on Gears 1. Most new players would benefit from it over the Nasher, and they wouldn't really be able to make use of the time lost getting to the weapon anyway, because if they really need it that badly, they probably don't know the map anyway. Doing this would also prompt a weapon tutorial with the gun, which would be huge, because newer players would actually understand what it does. I've seen people who are level 1, level 2 on the beta pick up or use the double barrel and have no clue what they're doing. They're trying to shoot it from literally 50, 60 feet away from people, not understanding that's not how the gun works at all. So I think making it a pickup weapon even helps the players who need it as a crutch. Then again, I don't think it's going to happen. I don't see why they would even consider doing it, seeing as how it would essentially take the gun out of the game. My third solution is my favorite solution. Not necessarily the best solution, but I think, to me, this makes the most sense. Instate a level cap at which a certain player can no longer select the double barrel shotgun as a starting weapon. If you do this, it allows the gun to serve its purpose while not allowing experienced players to abuse it or exploit it. When I saw this posted on the forums, on the Epic forums, and surprisingly to me it had a negative reception, but I really like this idea. After all, the gun is designed to be a crutch for players who are new to the game, yet a level 100 could theoretically spawn with it. If that happens, is the gun really serving its purpose? If this was put into effect, I would suggest the game start with a level 25 cap on the game's release, and then slowly have the level cap raised over time as the game goes by. So at the start of the game, once you hit level 25, you can't use it anymore, and then maybe over time raise it to 30 and 35, and then at some point it's got to like cap at like 40 or 50 or something. The only issue I see with this is that players earn XP from everything in Gears 3, so having it a hard level 25 doesn't really work. That could also be counterbalanced by making it so that once you hit 25 levels through pure multiplayer gained XP, it disables. So theoretically, a level 46 could have a sawed-off shotgun even if the level cap's 25. I really think this is the best, maybe not the best, but my favorite solution, because it makes the gun do what it was intended to do. It helps the new players, and then once you're not a new player anymore, by whatever rule new is stated at, you can't use it anymore, or to use it you have to pick it up off the ground from a player who was using it. I mean, to me that just makes the most sense. It helps players who need it, and once you don't need it anymore, you have to get used to it without it. The fourth suggestion is the one that I said I would go into a little bit more. That would be to turn the gun into a projectile weapon. Projectile weapons such as the boom shot and the torque bow do not run client-side hit detection, meaning the game registers hits based on how the server sees it, rather than the person shooting the gun. As I said before, this is the biggest issue with the sawed-off, as it causes the visual illusions that make it seem like a player is well out of range of being hit, yet they wind up still dying to the sawed-off anyway. By making the game rely on the server's view of the actions, these instances get reduced greatly. Unfortunately, it could also significantly reduce the effectiveness of the weapon, especially among people with kind of like below average internet connections, because they could be shooting people point blank, and by the time the shot comes out, that guy could have rolled away and gotten away from it and everything. I mean, it's a messy solution, but I think it's probably the most likely solution of the 4 that I just listed, simply because it changes the gun without changing really like how it won't change how it's used, it'll just change its effectiveness. Unfortunately, it makes it go from a borderline useless weapon that's outclassed by another weapon in its category that you can spawn with, into a weapon that will be unreliable and completely useless, especially on laggy connections. Anyway, all that aside, all solutions and talk about it aside, no matter what happens, there's a few things that I think need to happen to the gun. Whether if it's made a power weapon or if it stays a starting weapon, whatever. First off, the gun has to have its downing range removed. The gun is able to down by design, not just with actives and not just with the target being previously injured. It's, in essence, it has a downing range. It's much smaller than that of the Gnasher, obviously, but by design, it's capable of downing people when it's advertised as a kind of like an all or nothing kind of weapon. The second thing that I would like to see changed is that its gib range is slightly larger than that of the Gnasher. I'd like to see it slightly lower than that of the Gnasher. Either way, it needs to be evened out, which it's not, regardless of what the developers are saying right now. And then one final thing that I'd really like to see changed about it is the spread. I mean, the spread is just ridiculous. It has to be reduced to at least 3/4 of what it is right now. Maybe even a half of what it is right now. I understand the gun's supposed to kill without high accuracy requirements, which is why I don't like the concept of the gun. But there's a pretty large difference between between without high accuracy and no effort. The sawed-off takes no effort to a new extreme. The target should have to at least be near the middle of the screen for the shot to hit. That's the way I see it anyway. I mean, I don't want to see people shooting and killing people like they're shooting a nuke out of their gun or something, you know. That's just, it would make sense to have them towards the middle of the screen. Anyway, that's everything I feel about the sawed-off. I know I was kind of everywhere, ADD, all over the place with it, but there's a written version of what I just said in the description. It'll probably make more sense than what I just said. So if you didn't catch some of the things I said, you might want to just read that.